Mama Tried. I'm Juliet, and today I have another toddler meal ideas video for you. We're going to be doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Be sure that you are subscribed to my channel with the bell notifications on so that way you don't miss any of my videos, and make sure that you're following me over on Instagram as well because I post a lot of behind the scenes stuff there. But let's go ahead and get into it. There you go. Now this is a new one, so it's kind of full.
Kind of full?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Yeah, it's full. It's full.
Okay, put the lid on.
Put the lid on? That's full.
You need help?
I like actually chocolate milk.
You want chocolate milk?
Chocolate milk.
Okay.
I dumped it.
Good job.
Good job.
Other way. Here you go, that way. There you go. That's good?
That's good.
For breakfast this morning, we are making some strawberry and cream cheese stuffed French toast. Wow, that was a lot to say, but it is delicious. You guys are going to love this one, and it is very easy to make. So first, I'm just getting out all of my equipment and ingredients. So I'm using a griddle because it is just so easy for me to clean. I probably need to get a new one because this one is like probably over 10 years old. So it might be time to upgrade, but it still works, so whatever. So I'm just getting that out, and I'm getting out some whipped cream cheese. I feel like this is much easier than just a block of cream cheese. If you have a block, I would recommend heating that up first so that way it's not hard. And then I'm going to be chopping up some strawberries and throwing them in with the whipped cream cheese. So I'm just trying to use up ingredients that I already have at home. I don't really have a set like measurement for each thing that I'm putting in. I just have to say measure with your heart. If you don't like cream cheese that much, don't put a ton of cream cheese, just enough to hold like the strawberries together. And if you don't like strawberries, you can replace this with blueberries, blackberries, whatever your heart desires. But I'm using strawberries today, so I'm just cutting them up into tiny pieces and throwing them in a bowl. Then I'm going to be using my leftover whipped cream cheese. I think I had half of a container of this left. So it really depends on how much you're making. I made two, one for me and one for Lexi. So I just made enough to put in between two pieces, and I actually ended up making too much. So it all depends on how much you're making. If you're making 4+ pieces, I would use an entire thing of the whipped cream cheese or an entire block of cream cheese that is at room temperature, and then add in as much fruit as you want to the mixture. But yeah, it all depends on how much you're making. So if you're just making two, I would recommend using like half a thing of whipped cream cheese. I think that would be perfect because I actually had about 3/4 of the container left. So I would use even less than that, and then fill it up with your chopped fruit, mix it all together. Now I'm just adding in some raw Texas honey. This is just local honey from my area, and I'm measuring with my heart. I feel like that was a good, decent amount to make it extra sweet and delicious, and it ended up being perfect. So I'm sorry, you guys, sometimes I don't have correct measurements, especially whenever I'm just creating recipes by myself. I've made this recipe before, but I'm just using up ingredients that I have in the fridge. Then I'm just going to be mixing everything with a hand mixer. You can use just a regular whisk if you want. This just made it a lot easier and more creamy and fluffy for me. Now I'm going to be making the egg mixture to dip the bread into. So now again, I'm just trying to measure out how much I think I'll need. So I'm making 2 of the stuffed French toast things for me and Luxie. And then I'm also going to be making some just regular French toast for Stefano. So I'm just cracking 4 eggs into a measuring cup. I swear I use these glass measuring cups for just about everything. I'm adding in a little bit of milk and cinnamon in there. And again, since I already had it out, I'm just going to be using my hand mixer to get all of that nice and blended and mixed together. Now I'm going to be putting that mixture in like a casserole dish or something that's really easy for you to dip the bread into. And so now I'm just getting 2 pieces of white bread and then putting the strawberry and cream cheese mixture on the inside, making it kind of like a sandwich. And then I will be placing it in the egg mixture and then flipping it over. And then I'm going to place it on the griddle on medium to high heat. And I did spray the griddle just to make sure that nothing is going to stick. I'm just going to cook it on each side for about 3 minutes. Of course, double check yours and make sure that it's cooked all the way or that it's not burning. And how I do that is I will kind of move it around on the griddle or the pan to see if it moves. If it moves, then it's probably done. If it's not moving and it's still sticky, then it's not done yet. Now for plating, there are a couple of different ways that you can do this based on the ages of your children or a child that you are cooking for. So for mine, the biggest child, I'm just going to be slicing it down the middle, kind of like how you do a grilled cheese, and stacking them on top of each other. And then for Luxie's, I'm cutting it into fourths, and then I realized that I needed to cut it even more whenever she was eating it. So it all depends on your child's preference really and their capabilities on eating. So Luxie likes to eat with the forks, even stuff like this. So I cut it up even smaller for her after I gave it to her because I realized she did not want to pick it up. And it had syrup on it too, so maybe that's why she didn't want to. But you can serve this just by itself with no toppings. But for us, I decided to put a little bit of powdered sugar on top and some syrup. Okay, good. For lunch, we're going to be having a lot of frozen food. I don't normally like to cook like this, quote unquote. It's not really cooking, it's just like reheating food. But some days you just have to. You need something fast, something easy, and something that's, you know, moderately healthy. So I picked up these fish sticks. I've never had this brand. Luxie's never had fish sticks, but fish is very important in a little one's diet. It's great for your brain, but this is 100% real fish. Let's check out the nutrition label. Let me know if you guys want me to do a video where I literally just go over nutrition labels, because I'm not the best at it, but I'm pretty good at it. So, right here, what we want to look at, it's got 210 calories for 6 sticks. Now that really doesn't matter too much whenever it comes to our little ones, because we just want them to eat until they get full. So it's got 10 grams of fat. Now fat's not really bad. There's no trans fat, and there's 1 gram of saturated fat, so it's really not too bad. The cholesterol is, the sodium is crazy. That's bad sodium, but it's going to be like that for pretty much anything frozen that you make. And then there's 20 grams of carbs, but there's 10 grams of protein, so really it's about 10 grams of net carbs. And then there's vitamin D, calcium, iron, potassium. And then over here we're going to actually look at the ingredients. It's minced pollock, breadcrumb coating, and vegetable oil. I don't really care for the vegetable oil, but you know, it is what it is. So then for the coating, it's wheat flour, water, sugar, salt, yeast, and whey. and canola and or soybean oil. So it's really not too bad for frozen food. And then of course I just have some peas and carrots that I'm going to be putting some cheese in to make it kind of cheesy, because Luxie she doesn't like this by itself. I have to season it or do something to it, and it should just straight up be peas and carrots. So let's see. Over here there is some sodium. We've got 10 grams of carbs and 2 protein, so that would be 8 grams of net carbs, but it should just be peas and carrots. So if you look over at the ingredients, peas and carrots, so we're good. And then I also picked up these sweet potato fries. I like to make these myself most of the time, and I just do them in the air fryer, but these looked super easy and I couldn't pass it up. So we've got 0 trans fat, but don't really pay attention to the front. You always want to look at the actual nutrition label when you're purchasing things. 140 calories, total fat is 5 grams, no trans fat, 240 milligrams of sodium. So this is going to be a very high sodium meal, but you know, it is what it is. Better than fast food. So fast food would be a lot more. Then we've got some good vitamins in there and potassium, protein. So for the ingredients, this is what the most important part of it is, ingredients. So we've got sweet potatoes, vegetable oil, contains 1 or more of the following. Canola oil, I don't really like that. Cane sugar, that's all right. Tapioca starch, that's all right. Dextrin powder, garlic powder, salad mustard, salt, turmeric, paprika, natural flavors, spice, gluconic acid, and xanthan gum. None of these are really too bad, so I do trust this brand more than I do others, so it's okay. But this is what we're going to be making for lunch, so I'm just going to preheat the oven for these two. Then I'm going to be steaming these and adding some cheese in there to make it kind of saucy, and I might add in something else to make it a little creamy. I'm not sure yet, but that's what we're going to be doing for lunch. I changed my mind about the peas and carrots because I'm actually using those for dinner, and I forgot about that. But I have some green beans here, and I'm going to be making those. So I'm going to microwave them, and then I'm going to air fry them to make them crispy crunchy, because I don't like soggy green beans, and I don't expect Luxie to either. Alright, while the sweet potato fries and the fish sticks are cooking in the oven, I am getting my green beans that I steamed in the microwave and putting them in a bowl. I'm going to be measuring with my Hardigan with seasoning, just adding a little bit of olive oil, garlic powder, sea salt, and black peppercorn. And then I'm going to be adding in a little bit of lemon juice. Now just give them a good toss or a good stir to make sure that everything is coated in the seasoning. And I'm going to be putting mine in an air fryer. If you don't have an air fryer, that's fine. Just place them in the oven with the rest of your things, and maybe put them on a baker's rack so that way they can get crispy, because if they're laying in a pan with the olive oil, they're just not going to get as crunchy as they would if there was some air flowing underneath them. So if you do put them in the oven, I would definitely have them elevated. So like I said, I'm just putting them on the air fryer racks that I have and spreading them out so that way they can be evenly cooked. And I'll be air frying them for about 15 minutes at 400 degrees. Sweet potato fries. They're like French fries, but they're sweet. You like them?
I like them.
For dinner, I'm going to be making some mini chicken pot pies. So I'm preheating my oven to 375 degrees. Now I have some shredded chicken that I boiled the day before and shredded. So this is super simple. You could use a rotisserie chicken if you'd like, or you can buy some already shredded chicken and do it this way. But I'm just using 1 cup of the shredded chicken. And I'm also using 1 cup of the thawed peas and carrots. They're not cooked, they're just thawed from the freezer. And 1 can of cream of chicken soup. Just mix all of that together really well. This is going to be the filling. Now grab a muffin tin and spray it really well with some kind of oil. I'm just using olive oil. You can use whatever, just something so that they won't stick in there, because that would be a nightmare. And then I've got some Grand's flaky biscuits in an 8 count, and I'm just going to be taking all of those out and kind of pressing them down with my hands and molding them into bigger, flatter shapes to put inside of the muffin tins to act as the crust. Once you have made all of the little crusts, go ahead and put the filling in and just add it all the way to the top. Put them in the oven at 375 for 14 to 18 minutes.
Burn my hand.
Alright, that's the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps support my channel, and be sure that you're subscribed with the bell notifications on so that way you don't miss any of my videos. But like I said, that was everything, so I hope you have an awesome day. Bye!